What is up, Marks, and 9 to 5 jobbers? My name is Kevin.
This is Mike.
This is Andrew.
Nate Dogg in the house.
You are listening to the 5 Wise Marks.
Alright, and you are here for the special 420 edition of the 5 Wise Marks podcast. We have the 3-man band this week, and that spells disaster for you at Sacrifice from the 5 Wise Marks, pal. Nate, what you doing?
That's over with me, pal.
Kev, you here today?
I am very much here today.
Are we missing anybody today? Anybody important?
Who?
Who are we missing? I don't know. I don't know if they're that important.
I don't know either. I think it was some J-bro named Andrew.
Yeah.
Andy. Yes. Anthony.
Yeah. The table is leaning to
Alexis,
one side.
Turner. Yeah.
Timmy Turner.
Yeah. So, we're recording on 420. Rest in peace, Rick Rude. Rest in peace, China.
20 years ago today, Rick Rude.
That's half of the original DX, by the way. Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Watch out on 420 from here on out. So we've got a pretty different episode today. We're not going to be talking about too much on the current roster, what's going on. We're going to talk about the Viking experience. Yeah, that's a thing. We're going to do a top 5 segment. We're going to do a rant segment. So it's going to be a little different than the previous ones that we've laid out. So we're going to start off. What are your guys' thoughts on the Viking experience? The Viking experience at Six Flags, Ohio.
The first half an hour, I thought he was Evad. I was like, really? They're going to use a Dave Sullivan gimmick? And that just killed it for me right off the bat. I think they got no pop. And to think that they're still the NXT Tag Team Champions, therefore they're probably not going to beat Ryder and Hawkins, and then they're going to lose to an NXT Tag Team.
Are they like? I don't understand. The name, the Viking experience. Not a good time for it, and they're, like you said, they're still the NXT Tag Champs. But are they going to continue to do what they do with the NXT, like being brought up to the main roster if they're champion? Was it Asuka that had the NXT Women's title?
She dropped it.
She had to drop it. Wasn't that because she came up to the main roster, or am I missing something?
Yes, but she did it technically before she really came up to the main roster. But they've had it in the past. Sasha came up, which we'll talk about more later. She came up with the NXT title and held it for a while after debuting. I believe Kevin Owens debuted when he still had the NXT title.
He ended up dropping it to Finn Balor, now that I think about it. So
they probably do the honors for somebody rather than just drop it. But
yeah, I think they might do it for
Undisputed Era.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Viking experience sounds like a tagline for Viking River Cruises. I mean, it's just so bad. It
literally sounds like an amusement park.
Is that hanging above the Viking Stadium right now?
Yeah.
Where cue the guy with the horn?
Oh my god. So yeah, this is terrible. I think this is really killing them. I mean, from what I've heard, apparently they came up on Monday for the draft, and Vince is like, "Can't be War Raiders, pal." And so they had to come up with this name just on the cuff of their pants. Like, this was like, you have 30 minutes to come up with this name because we have to have the graphics ready for Raw. Like, okay, then don't debut until next week.
Yeah.
Don't debut until next week.
Isn't Ember Moon like the war goddess or something?
Yes.
Goddess of War, something like that?
Yeah.
Can't have that air, brothers. But
I wish you guys could see like the hands in the air right now. It's literally
6 shoulder shrugs.
Since this is clearly so visual of a medium, yeah, we have cameras recording.
The silence
everywhere.
you can literally see within the silence.
Yeah,
you can cut the silence with a knife.
I mean, the thing is, they're so talented, and they could be a really great monster heel team on the main roster, but I don't know if anybody can take them seriously as, what was it, Ivar and Eric. Yeah, just Eric.
One of these things just doesn't belong here.
Yeah, Eric with a K, though, so it's very Viking.
So it's totally different than Rowan.
Yeah, which actually is why they had to change his name, because his name was Ro. So they couldn't say Ro and Hansen because of Rowan. But if they had just kept Eric Rowan's name Eric Rowan, then you could have had Ro, and it wouldn't have been a problem.
Or they would have changed his name to like Steve, because can't have an Eric and can't have a Rowan because of the or Hansen and Ro.
Yeah, Steve Hansen. Yeah.
Are these types of gimmicks even alive in this day and age of professional wrestling?
They are if you're a 73-year-old dementia-riddled CEO.
he finally just watched a Berserker match.
There
Which,
you go.
by the way, apparently somebody suggested the Berserkers as a name, and Vince said no.
Bring back John Nord to manage him.
That would have been great. I would have popped so hard for that. That would have instantly made that team so... And then they could have, instead of winning the belts, they could have kept winning by count out and never won the belts. And they could have...
But then they got to throw a party on a random Coliseum video.
Huss! 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 Oh, my... That, yeah.
And it's 3 times, so it's going to be an echo in the arenas.
That would have been too good for TV. That would have just buried the whole rest of the roster.
Yeah.
So we want to debut a new segment this week. We're going to try and do this every week or every other week. We're going to do top 5s. So this is whatever topic we pick for a week, our individual top 5s. This is not objective. This is very clearly subjective. This week we're going to kick it off with a great one. Top 5 wrestlers that never were, but should have been a recognized world champion. So Nate, I think you want to explain this, what the exceptions are and what counts.
It doesn't mean just in the Fed. So that way, AWA, so Martel, you're out. Stan Hansen,
WCW.
WCW.
So Lex Luger, you're out.
Yes.
AWA,
Garvin.
Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect is out.
New Japan as well.
So sorry, Nakamura.
Yeah.
You don't get your recognition just like you don't from the WWE.
Yeah. It's nothing he's not familiar with.
Yeah.
So basically, with these top 5s, we want to try to think out of the box too. So it's kind of a different. You get a different feel because some of them might be we have like the same list.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end we should do like the 5 Wise Ultimate.
Yes. We will
list,
use
like a tally system.
very complex mathematics to come to this arrangement of adding up point totals in
Would you
reverse
say it would
order.
be Roman Reigns numerals?
Yes. Yes.
Or Luther Reigns numerals?
Oh, God. Black Rain numerals.
Yeah, there you go, Black Rain. I was about to say that.
That's a ringer with that horseshoe, brother.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with one of our compatriots who is no longer with us. No, he's not dead. He's just
live via satellite.
Yes, he's live via satellite.
He's hanging out with RVD today?
Possibly.
Because he's in Battle Creek?
There you go.
Yes, we have Maynard's lists. He said no particular order, but I'm going to read it in the order he sent it to me via text.
And
Via satellite.
This is going 5
to 1.
Okay.
And 1 counts as 5 points, 5 counts as 1, and so on and so forth. So for his number 5, Bundy.
King Kong Bundy.
Little King Kong Bundy.
Okay.
That's not a bad. Number 4, Razor. So it could be Razor or Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Just in case there's other people on the list. Number 3, we allowed it because ECW was kind of on the borderline. Little Bam Bam.
All right.
Not Bam Bam Gordy, Bam Bam
Yes.
Bigelow.
Yes.
Right.
Not
Even though Bam
Terry
Bam
Gordy.
Gordy would be a great pick.
He would be a great pick too. Also ECW champion, I believe.
The Executioner. Number 2, the Ravishing One.
Ooh,
Lana.
Rick. Oh,
Yeah.
Lana, the Ravishing Russian. Yeah.
No, Rick
I
Rude.
can't believe she hasn't been champion yet.
I know. And number 1,
been
which
sinking.
honestly, I don't even think we need to tally up points because this is probably on everybody's, is Owen Hart.
Love Owen Hart.
I think that's a spoiler for what's going to be number 1 on this ultimate list.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with mine next. I'm going to start number 5, Wade Barrett.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good call.
I perhaps some guys that maybe are a little more deserving, but you know what? We wanted to think outside the box. So I had to go with Bad News Barrett. Should have won it in 2011. And it's just a real shame. I thought he was the total package, not Lex Luger.
That's a great pick. No, I am a Bad News Barrett mark. I think he had the look in the promo. He's great.
So then we're gonna go Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I tried to pick guys that I thought there was like a moment that they probably should have won it.
Mania 4.
And Mania 4
That
for
was
Ted.
scheduled.
For Ted DiBiase.
Scheduled. Thanks, Honky.
Yeah, thanks, Honky. I love Ted DiBiase. A friend of mine would like to point out he's from Omaha, Nebraska. Just throwing that out there. Number 3, one of my all-time favorites, and if we ever get into fantasy booking, he will be very prominently featured. Bad News Allen / Bad News Brown in WWE /F. He should have won it right there in that 89-90 range because Vince was telling him, I want to make you my first black champion, but just kidding. Vince and promises to black people don't tend to hold up. So that's not foreshadowing for any other segments in this show for sure.
That's 2 spoilers for that already.
Yeah. My number 2, same as Maynard, Rick Rude. The Ravishing One. Love him. Honestly, probably my favorite wrestler growing up. So I had to throw him in there. And by the way, WCW International title does not count. That's why he's on the list.
Yes.
In a good way. Number 1, Owen Hart.
Yep.
We came up with these, by the way, independent of one another.
Yes,
so
at separate
we did not
times.
coordinate on putting Owen Hart in this position. We just all love Owen Hart. And it broke my heart, not trying to be a pun, but it hurt me because I was watching WWF 1998 earlier this year, and one of those episodes, Jim Ross said about Owen Hart, that right there is a future world champion, and I mean, obviously Jim Ross cannot predict what would have happened, but that hurt hearing that.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
R.I.P. Owen Hart. We're going to send it back to Nate because I believe he's got Turner's list pulled up.
I do. You're going to hear my voice a lot this next couple of minutes.
Yeah.
The Turner's list, that's not a bad list. There's a couple off the walls, but number 5, Scott Hall.
Okay.
I think we've already talked about that. Number 4, which I think is a great pick, William Regal.
Oh.
Okay.
Number 3, here's the one that's off the wall. He's the inventor of the Frog Splash. That'd be the juicer, Art Barr.
Art Barr.
Yeah.
That's great. Him and Eddie were so over back in AAA. That's a great pick. That's a nice off-the-wall pick.
Yeah.
Number 2, I like it, Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, see, and I was talking to Nate about this before the podcast. I felt really bad having to leave Shelton Benjamin off my list, so I'm glad he gets on here at some point.
Turner,
I love
put
Shelton.
him on the list. Number 1, I think this is great, even though I don't think he's a main event guy. He's Canyon. He's positively Canyon.
Who better than Chris Canyon Klusaritz?
That's a great list.
I love Canyon,
Yeah,
so
solid
I'm all
list,
in on
solid
that
list.
too. Kev, I believe we're going to kick it to you.
So for
Kevin's trying to read my handwriting, by the way. That's why this is so bad.
It's kind of it's just is what it is. First on my list,
5.
yeah, my number 5, The Natural, Dustin Rhodes. Don't sing it.
I'm literally biting my knuckle right now.
Try it.
I get it. I understand. We just don't want to get
What do we call him?
flagged by the WWE.
7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 7, Black Rain.
Yes.
Second on the list, number 4, I have Andrew Test Martin.
The
R.I.P.
Punisher.
I want to talk about Test a little later in this podcast, but I love that pick.
That is.
Exactly.
This is a spoiler episode,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
By the way, we're spoiling our own podcast, so don't bother listening to the rest after this because we're just going to give it all away. Terrible business.
Number
people.
3, hello, ladies.
Oh,
The man Val Venus.
I sense a lot of Attitude Era in this
yes.
list, Kev.
It is interesting that the people born in the 80s were listening to a lot of 80s people. The person born in the 90s listening to a lot of 90s people. So that's
It's
kind of
the era they grew up in.
Yeah. Well,
So
Exactly.
it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
At number 2, I have a man's man, William Regal.
He's a man. Couldn't help myself that
Right.
Trojan, man.
Yeah. And number 1,
Enough is enough.
and
it's time for a change.
Owen
The
James
Nugget.
Hart.
Yes. The Black Heart.
Do you want to
The Blue
tally
Blazer.
those up, sir?
We got a
That's-
running tally
Yeah,
going.
The
That's
Blue Blazer.
Yes.
That's a great list. I accidentally gave a thumbs down to one of Turner's things because I'm on his.
Well, he deserved it. He's
He
live
probably
via
deserved
satellite.
it, yeah.
Our satellite connection's
All
weak
right.
here, so
Now we're going with Nate's. This has been top secret. He has not really wanted to talk
yeah,
about
he's
this at all.
not. Yeah.
Turner,
This is-
I kind of spoiled a little bit to Turner, but since he's not
Yeah.
here, via
This is more
satellite,
top secret than the Mueller report.
This is more top secret than who lifted the briefcase at King of the Ring '99.
Yeah.
Number 5, if I could be serious for a moment, Lance Storm.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 4, I'm surprised nobody has him. We talked about it. We kind of spoiled it with Huss, not Berserker. Bruiser Brody.
Love it.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay.
I think if that episode had aired of the Viceland series Dark Side of the Ring, he may have gotten onto a couple lists.
Right.
Yes.
I love Brody, though. That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Number 3, this is what I questioned because it's junior heavyweight and we allowed it. Jushin
Thunder Liger.
Thunder Liger.
Yeah.
Solid worker.
I'm fine with that.
Number 2, blondes have more fun. Flying Brian.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Hollywood
number
blondes.
1, just make it number 1 for everybody's list.
Except one person.
Yes, it is the Rocket, Owen Hart.
All right. So, I'm going to add up our points here. We have...
Except for number 1.
Number 1 with 20 points out of a possible 25 is Owen Hart. So...
You still can't get the main event push on our list.
Yeah. Owen is number 1 in our hearts. Number 2 is with, I believe, 8 points. Yes, this is very close. Is Ravishing Rick Rude. He finished with 2nd place on 2 different people's lists. So
it's just hard to pick just 5, though.
yeah,
There's so many potential candidates.
Yeah.
6. It looks like 6 points, I believe. In 3rd is William Regal.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, getting on 2 different people's lists.
They were like my honorable mentions too.
Yeah.
That's what makes it difficult.
So number 4, because he was in 1st place on Turner's list, who better than Chris Kanyon? And number 5 is actually, it looks like a tie between
Scott Hall.
No, Shelton Benjamin and Brian Pillman, both with 4 points.
Ooh, all right. Here. And then this is where the fun comes in. It's a debate.
Who gets in, Pillman or Benjamin?
I got to give it to Pillman.
Okay.
Got a reason?
His promos.
So you are not allowed to pick, by the way,
solid
Nate,
worker, though.
because he's already on your list.
This is true. But unless we got a tiebreaker. Because
Ties go to me. That's how this works.
Mike goes over all the time.
Yes. I have creative control, brothers.
Pat or Gerald?
I'll actually
I
let
hope
you
the
give
hell
your
not
reasons,
Pat.
by the way, instead of talking over you, if you'd like to.
No, it's all right. I'll keep mine sweet, short, and to the point. Of course, Shelton is a fantastic worker, but I gotta stick. Maybe it may seem biased to my '90s theme list, but I gotta stick with Brian Pillman. I watched a lot of his work when he was with the Hollywood Blondes, and then off to the Loose Cannon and off to ECW. Again, solid worker for the potential at the time. His promos were fantastic. I felt more attracted, for lack of a better term, as far as a mark. Head turn. That's the best as far as the term I could get.
Yeah.
You get it.
What caught his eye?
Magnetized.
What caught your eye?
Yeah, he caught my eye more.
Natural body charisma. Like
Right,
that.
exactly. Again, nothing against personal on Shelton, but
I'm going to give a very, very long and thought out defense of Shelton Benjamin. One, Brian Pillman did not beat Triple H in 2004 on Raw. Okay? And 2, did anyone else take a better Sweet Chin Music than Shelton Benjamin? The answer is no.
That's a solid point.
I rest my case.
And also, Brian Pillman's mom was not featured.
That's true.
His wife, yes. His mom, no.
Exactly.
I can't. I'm gonna.
So,
I don't know what we do here.
I think the tiebreaker does, in fact, actually go to Pillman. So, Pillman's number 5. Shelton, you get to be the honorable mention, just sitting out. But, I mean, either way, pretty good list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Canyon's a little weird, but that's just because it's just
who better?
Yeah, who better?
So
Rick Rude and Owen Hart.
Yes, and William Regal.
I mean, if we want to talk about Chris Kanyon in the top 5, he obviously takes the number 1 in nastiest chair shots from The Undertaker in 03.
Ooh, yeah.
Disgusting
that might-
shotgun blast of a chair shot.
That might be a spoiler too, by the way, for a
for a later edition. So just one more time, wrapping up. Owen Hart number 1, Rick Rude number 2, William Regal number 3, Chris Kanyon number 4, and number 5 via tiebreaker, Brian Pillman. That is the 5 wise marks, top 5 wrestlers that should have been world champion.
I like that list.
Yeah, solid list.
And not a single guy on there is even remotely close to being even average as a worker. They are all solidly between above average and all-time great.
I think Rick Rude is the worst worker on that list.
Yeah, I would argue
Maybe
Him or Canyon.
And that's no disrespect, because they're both...
No, because Owen Hart, William Regal, and Brian Pillman all have arguments to be like a top 25 all-time guy, so...
So does Rick Rude?
So does Rick Rude. Because Rick Rude, but
Canyon don't.
Rick Rude more on the charisma than the not necessarily in-ring work. Like, there's not too many...
Because Canyon was more in-ring than charisma,
yes.
except for the Positively Canyon run. I love that.